Hello, everybody. Spider here once again. Coming soon podcast, San Antonio, Texas, being joined by J.M Heluk. How are you doing today?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Man, I'm rushed, and I'm rushing you, and I thank you for jumping on this when you did, because of course time is an essence, and half the world's getting ready for this Super Bowl. I heard Super Bowl this morning. Not that I was going to go buy soup or something. I had no idea what was going on, but the game is going on today. It is Super Bowl Sunday, and I got to ask you: are you a fan of football?
Sports. I've heard of them.
There you go. There you go. That's all I needed to hear because I'm right there with you. Yeah, we were just talking about that a few seconds ago or minutes ago, and I know the Patriots are playing. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody will chime in and let us know. But the
That's
game is
right.
going on this evening, and I got to ask you, where about are you located at?
I am in lovely, freezing cold New Jersey, where it is now 9 degrees.
Oh, okay, okay. Wow. Okay, yeah, because that freeze went by us. We was here for like almost a week,
Oh,
and
wow.
I guess you guys are stuck with it. But is it like that year round for you guys?
No, never. This is actually the coldest it's ever been. We just got back from Iceland, and it was warmer in Iceland than it was in the States, which is amazing. It's about 35 and sunny there now. Outside here, it's about 12 degrees with the wind chill -10.
No, you see, and I was gonna say too, because I think I remember reading that in high school or middle school, but it was talking about Iceland being green and Greenland being cold or something like that. But
That's
I
correct.
can I can only imagine. But what were you guys doing out there?
Bucket list wanted to see the Northern Lights,
Oh,
and
sweet.
we did.
How did that go? I've always seen them on social media. So
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I never thought that I'd get to see it because you'll hear these broadcasts saying, "Oh, you'll be able to see the Northern Lights tonight." I'm standing outside like an ass in my front yard for 4 hours staring at the sky. I finally, I was just like, you know what? Let's just go. So it was amazing. It was like the whole sky, color of my glasses, the color of your podcast logo. Same
nice,
colors all just spinning through the sky. It was amazing.
man. Well, that's cool. And I mean, this bucket list. I mean, what else is on there? What else have you guys already accomplished on that list?
Went to Bora Bora.
Texas being joined.
Yeah. I was in Bora Bora and that was amazing. That's it. That's all I've done so far.
Man, my bucket list was going to the grocery store and picking up those side dishes I talked about earlier, and I made it. I mean, it was packed, like you said. People are out there getting ready for the night, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I know. Me and my girl actually made a not so much a bucket list, but we decided that we were gonna start getting to know Texas a little bit more when it came to state parks. Going to places that we keep hearing about and we haven't been to yet. And I mean, people want to travel the world, and I'm like, man, I still haven't seen half of Texas.
Texas is a big state.
No, no,
There's
it is. I mean,
a
it's like,
lot
I
to
mean,
see.
yeah, no, yeah, and I mean, right now, I mean, we still got a few more things. I know there's an abandoned zoo that they turned into a trail up north that I want to go to because they still have like the cages, they still have everything set up, and it's just you can go out there and hang out, and you know, I want to do that.
That's amazing. That sounds like a good time.
No, no, for sure. And well, hopefully we won't get attacked by any animals. I don't know. We'll see. But
Or the spirits of animals
yes,
pass.
I wasn't gonna go there, but yes, now that you brought that up.
It's possible. You never know.
But of course, let me ask you when it came to the bucket list, because of course you are a published author. So, do you write about experiences in life? Do you write about things you've seen, places you've been to?
That's actually a really good question. Yes and no. Experiences as in like I have like my most recent book, which is Stitches, this one right here.
Yes.
This is a compilation of stories that I've written over the last few decades, and most of them revolve around water. And as you know, New Jersey, we have a lot of beaches. You might not know we have a lot of beaches in New Jersey, some clean, some not, but New Jersey gets a bad rap. But yeah, I've written about experiences, mostly dread though, and not that my experiences have been dread, but the book is filled with dread.
Okay, well, you brought up beaches in New Jersey. I had no idea you guys had any.
We have amazing beaches in New Jersey. New Jersey absolutely gets a bad rap. Definitely does. We have miles of clean beaches. We have fantastic corn and world-class tomatoes, and we've got some stuff.
Man, I wonder is it the locals building up that bad rap so we won't go visit or what? Because that sounds beautiful. That sounds
No, I
great.
don't. No, I don't think it's that. I think
Oh,
it's
okay,
just,
okay.
it's like a bad joke. But New Jersey definitely gets a bad rap. It's not a bad state. The taxes are ridiculous,
Yeah.
but the rest of the state is okay. Until you go way north, then it gets a little more congested. But the further you go down south, it's a lot of farms, a lot of farmland, a lot of green, a lot of flatness.
You see, I obviously haven't traveled enough because I had no idea. I thought New Jersey, I just thought of tall buildings and being next to New York and all the other states around there. But that sounds pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I was very fortunate to grow up where I did when I did, and the states changed like everything changes. But I do want to. One of the places I wanted to go was to Texas, and I've never gone.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Texas, and it's the same here. I mean, I know there's, we have like, I mean, I'm in San Antonio. I mean, we have Houston, Dallas, the bigger cities. Austin, Texas, which is like known for a lot of, indie films, a lot of film festivals, a lot of creativity. I think Meta and Facebook is out there now, but I mean, it's growing. I mean, I know between here and Austin, I always tell people it used to take me about an hour to get there, like on the highway, and now it's like 2 hours.
Oh,
That's how big it's gotten because of the traffic they keep building. And yeah, but I mean, I've been going out there to film quite a bit, so I don't want to say I'm gotten used to the traffic because I don't want to say that.
no, never
But,
say that. That's a terrible thing to say.
no, no, yeah, but yeah, but it's I mean, Texas definitely. There's a lot of back roads. I mean, you can get lost, and in a good way, you can get out lost and just kind of be out there under the stars, where get away as far away from the city as possible. And that's one of the things because after COVID, I guess it's when a lot of people started moving to Texas. A lot here in San Antonio has grown like quite a bit in the past 5 years. But people I always tell people because they're like, "Oh, where's the best place to live in the city?" And I said, "Man, I'd be aiming for like right outside the city, just like 30 minutes away to where you just go
Right,
out
not
there."
in it.
Exactly, because it's like, I mean, if you have a transportation and work is, worth paying to go back and forth, I said I would because, I love the tranquility. My neighbors, thank God, they're good neighbors. They don't really make a lot of noise, but I'd rather live out there in the middle of like 5 acres and my neighbors
That's
be far
right.
enough.
Right now, I'm sitting in a 1870s farmhouse on a tract of land, and that's exactly the way I like it. I have one neighbor.
Nice.
So it's good. One neighbor. It works out for
Man.
me.
And is that a family home? Family property or?
No, it was actually one of the original farmhouses in this area. There were three. They were the first homes that were built here.
Oh, wow.
And in the middle of the housing boom in New Jersey, where you couldn't get a house for under, and this was 15 years ago, you couldn't find a house, not even one bedroom, for under 250,000. It
Damn.
got crazy out here. Yeah. And this was, decades ago. But I found this little gem and I was like, yeah, it needs work, but it's kind of like a bucket list thing on its own because it gives me a lot of creep factor when I want to write. If, as a matter of fact, the cover of Stitches is a picture of my backyard in the fog in the night,
No
which I was
way.
like, I took a picture. I was like, yeah, this works.
Yeah, that's cool. You said that's a
Yeah.
nice little fun fact.
Yep.
Man, and of course, I mean, you guys having that property, do y'all have cattle out there?
No, it's
Oh,
not enough for cattle. In the state of New Jersey, you can only have, I think it's one animal per half acre.
okay.
So yeah, I mean, what am I gonna do? Have like two cows somewhere? And then I'll be tempted to bring them in the house. It'll be a mess.
I know. I was gonna say because I mean, where I live, I guess on the west side of San Antonio, and there's a lot of agriculture. Like, I mean, right when I get to Acme Road, it used to be all country. Like there used to be cornfields, and I mean, that's so much it's grown, right, since like the 70s and 80s. But here, like I have neighbors, a neighbor right down this across down the way, maybe like a block away. He's got a pet pig in his front yard. Every time I drive by there, I honk and I wave. I don't know why, but that's pretty cool.
Do you know the pig's name yet?
No, and I never see anybody out there. Like I know I've seen like a couple of vehicles here and there, but I haven't
Just
like
a random pig.
yeah, he's just out there chilling. And I have my other neighbors like 2 houses down. They have a bunch of chickens, and so we got a little bit of agriculture going on out here. All we have is dogs, but it's enough
Okay.
for me.
There's a lot of cats around here. I think people dump their animals in the woods behind the house, and then they just all migrate to our house, which is fine because we take care of them all.
Yeah, no, and that's one of my pet peeves. I mean, we have 3 dogs in the house, but I drive around with like a big old box of dog treats. So when I'm driving around, I'm throwing them. I'm put my hazards on and I throw them to the dogs because I'm like, it's not their fault that whoever had them let them go, and it's just sad. And
it's sad. Yeah, it's very sad. Like right now, we have a whole bunch of heated cat beds outside for anybody who needs to wander. Doesn't matter. We don't discriminate. It could be a possum. It could be a raccoon, a squirrel. We don't care.
No, yeah.
Take a seat.
Like I tell people, they were here before us, so heck, we're invading their territory.
I agree. We have a lady deer now that's taken up a root in our backyard. She's hanging out under the bird feeder. I'm like, all right, good for you.
Man, look at that. Well, I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, do you guys, and I'm pretty sure you don't because I'm sure they come and go, but do you guys name these pets?
Do we have what?
Do y'all name them? I mean, when y'all get them, y'all have nicknames?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Her name is Lovely. We have cats that come outside. It's Negan, Nevin, Niles. We name them all. Even
what's with the N? Where does that come from?
Oh, because we had our own pets. We lost a lot of pets this year. We lost probably 7 cats.
Oh,
and yeah, there was a lot. And one of them was named Evan. One is named Deacon. He's still alive. One was named Miles. And the ones that started showing up looked exactly like the ones that had just passed. So I was like, well, that's not Evan. So we'll just call him Nevin, not Evan. Not Miles. Now he's Nile. So we just came up with some nice names for him.
No, that's good. I mean, that it's one thing, and I gotta ask because I mean these pets. You said they just wandered. So the ones that you had were pets that you guys brought home. I mean, that you guys kept, or
well, they just show up, and then we just take them in and go. Okay, you live in the house now.
That's what I told my kids growing up because they always wanted pets as kids, and my oldest was a cat person. I mean, I don't mind them, but I'm a dog guy. But I used to tell her, I said, man, when we were growing up, we just had random pets. We had different dogs every week. Like they would just come in, stay here for a week, and then they move on and find their forever home. But I mean, we always took care of them though, while they were there.
Yeah, street dogs. I get it.
Man, and of course, when it comes to New Jersey, are you born and raised?
Born and raised in New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, what you say, I mean, I'm sure just like here, I mean, a lot has changed, but I mean, what's one of the things that has changed drastically for you out there?
More people like you, the congestion. It's gone from a lot of farmland to a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
A lot of people, but it's, I guess, progress.
No,
I'm like you. I want to be out in the middle of nowhere. We already have a huge commute because we work in Pennsylvania. So we work in another state. So our commute's already an hour and a half a day anyway. So it gives me a lot of time to write in my head and then hope to hell that I can remember what I wrote in my head when I get home.
You see, and that's do you ever use your phone to record yourself? I mean, I know I have a voice recorder on mine, and too much work. I mean, I personally don't do it, but because I do have 2 phones. I have a media phone and I have my personal. I always text myself.
I do. Yeah. I text myself. I'll come up with stories in my head, but there's always something running in there. Not to do this to myself, but there's always something running. There's always a story in the background that I have to get down on paper. Always. Like right now I'm in the middle. I got stitches out of the way and I'm working on a novel called Thig, Thig. Nice. The term of Thig is to beg. in Scottish.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's my first attempt to write long form horror, because everything I've ever done my entire career has been short form horror, short stories. That's what the collection is. Fig is my first foray into that. It's kind of like Indiana Jones meets 28 Days Later meets Evil Dead. It's a world ender. Everybody is
okay.
going to be going through some shit.
I was gonna say that's quite a picture, you know, but I mean I can see it though. I mean Indiana Jones, of course, you know, I mean who wasn't a fan of the film when it came out, right? But
right, yeah.
you throw some horror elements. Let me ask you this because I've had that conversation with friends before, and I always tell them, I say, you know what, like the X-Men, right? I mean, as kids, I grew up watching them, and the cartoons were for us back then. So there were cartoons, there was no violence. But now that I'm an adult, or at least I like to think I am, you know, I would love to see a lot more violence in like films like the X-Men and other films, you know, just because I think I'm ready for it, you know?
I agree. I agree. And even the ultra violence, like I started watching The Boys,
Yeah.
and the ultra violence it's a thing. I enjoy it. It's not really in my books, which is weird. I don't really write violence. I write more dread, horror, like feeling I'm down with like real old timey horror.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the X-Men or any type of superhero stuff, I like it. I like ultra violence.
No, I agree with you on that one. And let me ask you, because when you talked about Stitches, you said that there was a lot of stories that were kind of in there. Was the reason for that because like you were writing, you know, things that weren't like for a book, and you were just like, you know what, let me just put them together?
No, actually, no, the opposite. I started writing this probably, honestly, probably 20 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
And I always wanted to put together a collection where each story had like a kind of like a little thread or a stitch, where each story had some sort of faint connection. And I like to leave it up to the reader to decide the genesis of the horror. Where did it begin? What story was first? How are all of these stories connected? And I've had a lot of people reach out to me. I know what it's meant to be. Like I know the sequence and I know where it started, but I do like to hear what other people have to say. And so far I've heard a couple different theories, most correct, which I was like, okay, good. They got it. You know, they definitely got it. So I was very fortunate to have this put together. I hooked up with Jacob from Nightmare Press.
Yes.
I prefer smaller press because not that I'm not saying I'm a control freak, but I do like the control that working with a smaller press offers, because I wanted like a high back color on the back, on the cover. And then I wanted this particularly on the front. So when I designed this, I had somebody, you know, kind of put this format together for me on the back. And I liked the control, like nobody stepped in and said, well, we need more of this, or let's say kind of commercialize it. It's raw and it's the way it needs to be. Yeah. It has just the right amount of dread to horror to intelligence.
No, and I was going to say too, because I did read up a bit on your publication, or this last one coming up, and it did talk about you wanting people to kind of, you know, not so much for the stories that get in people's heads, and then for them to actually try to figure out what's going on. Because I think, I mean, for me, and this is only my thought, but like when I watch a film, just like music, I mean, depends what kind of mood you're in, that the music or the movie's going to hit you differently.
Right.
So yeah. I'm kind of curious on these books, if that's what's, I mean, because obviously you already have a pattern like you stated, but I mean, if people are going to get out of it what they're going through that day or that week, you know,
they're definitely going to get something out of it. I've heard more than once that the stories resonate. They close the book, and a week later, they're still thinking about a certain story in there that touched them on some sort of deeper or psychological level, that's bothered them or stuck in their head or brought up some sort of past trauma, which, you know, not that I'm out there to traumatize people, but, you know, I mean, but I kind of am. So each one is connected, and I just put enough Easter eggs and little threads for people to get to one story, and they're completely out of order as well. So they have to go back and think like, oh, this is connected to this, and oh, I see how, and all of that. So I had the idea for this a long time ago. It just took me longer than usual to get it together. I had to get it together because I was obsessing over what should make it into the book. Out of hundreds of short stories, I knew the ones that were going to make it into Stitches. I just had to put it together.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, when it comes to the other stories, is that going to be for like another book you put together?
Well, not at the moment. Right now, I am putting together the novel. I'm about 55% through it. It's difficult. I did not realize, because I am a kid of the 80s. I grew up on like Tales from the Crypt and Tales from the Dark Side and, you know, Twilight Zone and all of these things like that just steered me to this format. Like you start off and you get this punch and you get this crazy twist at the end that you didn't see was coming. I think it's harder to write short stories because you have to pack a lot of information into a short form and have a person feel for a character, care about the story. Every word is a very particular choice. The novel, I'm like, oh, I'm just running free. I could do whatever the hell I want. And it's crazy because I keep going back and I'm like, oh shit, this is working out really well. So yeah, it's one giant story. No connections. It's just a novel.
No, for sure. And I mean, when it comes to writing, I mean, when did that start for you? Oh,
Yep.
Are you still there? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, when it comes to writing, when did that begin for you? I mean, when did you start writing or trying to get interested in being a writer?
I started writing when I was really young, maybe 8 years old, 9 years old.
Okay.
And always scary stuff. Nothing romantic, anything other than frightening. Yeah. My mother jokes around. She says we have a horror gene, and I think she's correct. Because even at 8 years old, I was writing a story about a demon that came stomping out of a fireplace and with its, dog legs, like burning hoof prints into the floor. Man. And my mom's like, where is this coming from? I'm like, I don't know. But then it morphed into drawing, and then I like to sculpt. But there's always been a creative aspect, and I always went back to the writing. Yeah. So I was very fortunate to have come up with some of the most prolific in the horror genre. I came up with a lot of people like Ronald Malfi, who's a phenomenal author. Paul Tremblay was someone who edited my work early on. I paid him this is how old I am. I'm dating myself. I paid him in Borders gift certificates. So, I was I am part of the Horror Writers Association. Nice. I, hung out with Jack Ketchum and Peter Straub. I've been around for a while. Nobody knew I was female until the advent of the internet, really started, social media and MySpace and all these things. But people were shocked. People were offended because they would see J.M. Heluk and automatically just started calling me Jim, online, in emails. They just added an I. So when I finally met them, they were mad. Oh, dude, why didn't you tell me? It's like, I don't get. Why didn't you correct me? I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I just want to write. That's it.
Man, and I mean, not so much hiding your identity, but was that something that you were looking at doing? I mean, you didn't want people to know who you were?
Yeah, I actually did. I did not want to be known as a female horror writer. I just wanted to be a horror writer.
Oh, I can respect that. Yeah.
And back in the day, it was very, very, I don't know, it was more male driven
Right.
than it is now. There's a lot more women. Maybe there were a lot of women who were like me that were just, I'm J.M Heluk. But I did not want to be known as, oh, she's good. She's good. Like she's good for a horror writer. I
Yeah.
didn't want to hear that. I just wanted to be, and I folded in with everyone else. And when they finally met me at that first horror writers convention, and I walked in, the only person who knew I was female was my publisher. And I walked in, and people were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Where's Jim at?
Yeah. And pissed off too. Like, why didn't you tell me?
Wow.
You
Is it
let me
that-
call you Jim. And I'm like, because it really didn't matter. We were talking shop. We were talking about writing.
Did they say they were? Did they feel that they were being catfished? Is that the right term?
Well, I guess it would be the opposite of catfish.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I feel like people, there was a level of respect after that. They were like, you know what, I get it. Because it was a different time. There were not a lot of avenues for people other than guys generally as authors, especially in this genre. So for me, I kind of folded in, and I write from a male perspective anyway. It's very hard for me to write a female character, extremely hard. Fig, the main character, is female. I'm struggling.
So, I mean, well, let me ask you this. I mean, growing up, were you more on the like tomboyish side?
Oh, 1000%.
Oh, okay, okay. And I mean, what was it that kind of? I mean, what were you involved in sports and fishing, or what was going on there?
Roller skating, cheerleading,
Okay. Yeah.
but I had a mohawk. Of course I did. There, I'm gonna put it this way. My mother bought me a Barbie styling head. It was the little Barbie, and it had the hair,
Yeah.
and the little girls would comb the hair. No, I didn't do that. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. I took my Barbie styling head out on the middle of the front lawn. It was like July. It wasn't anywhere near Halloween. And I made it like it was coming out of the ground, and I put makeup on its face, and it was all green and gray. And then I took my mother's dish gloves, and I put it like, stuffed them like hands, like it was bursting out of a grave.
Nice.
That's what I did with my Barbie styling head. My dad built me a dollhouse. I immediately took all my trucks and drove them over the little girl, like little toys and things from, and they just gave up. They're like, okay.
They're like, yeah. No, but I mean, that's all about creativity, though. I mean, because obviously, when it came to horror films, I mean, you just mentioned earlier, you're a fan of, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah.
A lot of these classics. I mean, I always told people, because growing up, we were in a family of 10, like 10 with mom and dad. There was 8 of us, and like as a kid, we had the option to either share a bed or I could sleep on the sofa, and I was like, you know what, I'll sleep on the sofa. And as soon as I lay down, I'm looking, and the TV's right across. We only had one TV back then, right? It wasn't right in the living room, and I was like, man, I could stay up and watch TV. So I would put it on, and I put it as low as possible, just enough for me to hear it. And when I would hear somebody walking up, I would act like I'm asleep, but I would stay up and watch like Twilight Zone. I'd be watching, and it's one of those. And I'll say my age, because I told my kids this, and they're like, "What do you mean?" And I said, I used to watch the TV till it would just be going to static, and the national anthem would go turn on. And I said, nothing was on after midnight. I said, back then there was nothing. At 12 o'clock, everything was shut down, and a lot of people might not even realize that now. But I mean, that was me. As soon as that would come on, I'd just go to bed and go to school the next day and talk about these movies I'd be watching. But it was the best seat in the house, I would say.
I think you chose wisely. That was a very smart decision.
Oh, yeah.
The couch was the best. Of course, your back is probably destroyed now as an older person, but
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that was one of the sacrifices I had to make. But yeah, it's just I had a lot of fun growing up, though. I mean, the big family. I always tell people it was hard not to be close. We were all always home, but as soon as everybody started moving out of the house, I didn't have my own bed till like maybe like middle school.
Oh, wow.
Like it was
Okay.
like one of those where I finally got my own bed, and I was like, man, like I felt like I felt like it was a house. Like when I had
You're
my
like
own
a
room, that was
king.
like a blessing. I was like, man, like who has their own room growing up? You know, I wasn't that fortunate, but a
Well,
lot of
listen,
good
you were
memories.
fortunate enough to have your own couch and the only TV in the house
Yeah.
all night,
No,
so
yeah, yeah.
you
No,
were
no,
smart
no,
about it.
no remote, no remote, mind you. I had to get up and change it. Change.
Nope, you're right. And before the static started, it
Yeah,
was an American flag. They
yeah.
played, whatever patriotic music. Then it went to static. But I remember, like you, I remember sitting up and the paid channels, the channels you're not supposed to be
Oh
watching,
yeah, yeah.
that would scramble and you'd have to have a descrambler. And I remember watching Motel Hell as a
Oh,
kid,
sweet.
this
Okay.
ridiculous movie, and then The Changeling, and then scaring the crap out of
Oh
myself.
man,
Like nobody's home. I'm like 11. I'm like
you're
sitting in
hearing
front.
noises. You're like, who's there? Turning
Yep.
around. You see, and that was one of the things too, because where we grew up, the bathroom was all the way at the end of the house. So me watching scary movies and staying up, and then I had to go use the bathroom, and I'd be like, damn, I'd be like running down the house like in the middle of the
That,
night, but
that dark hallway, that long dark hallway where the
oh yeah,
arms are long enough to reach you
yeah, that's it, that's it.
as you ran.
But yeah, I mean, but let me ask you this: when it comes to writing, I mean, have you ever uh thought about writing a script for a movie?
Years ago, I dabbled in like some script writing software.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people in the industry. I'm fortunate like that. So, but I haven't really had the opportunity, or I don't know. It's a good question. I wouldn't say no to it. And
Right.
anything that I've written long form or even short story could potentially be rewritten as a script for something short or even a long form, but I've not done it myself.
Oh,
No.
okay, okay. I was just curious because I'd be interested to see your spin-off, and not so much like you know working on a film that's already been out, but I mean just your own creativity, your own concept and storyline and dialogue, but that'd be interesting to maybe someday, right? Maybe.
Well, again, I do know people. I do know people who could make it happen. I
Right.
just I haven't gone there yet. That's not to say I still got plenty of time. I still have a lot of years ahead of me, and I have a lot of time to do it, but I don't want to waste it either. I do know people who can do it. Of course, you have to come up with the financial backing of stuff like
Oh
that,
yeah.
but I could certainly do that. I mean, I'm in the middle of getting Stitches done as an audiobook,
Oh
and I
nice.
did hire people to do it. I didn't go the route of Speechify, which that is a phenomenal tool, but I wanted to pay people.
Right.
I wanted to give somebody a job. So
Oh
that's
nice.
the route I went. I didn't go AI route. I didn't do any of that because that's a whole nother can of worms with the AI.
No, yeah, I mean, I've been, I'm not a writer, I'm not a filmmaker, nothing like that. But I mean, I've used it a lot for images. I've used it just to enhance a couple of things. But I can see where, I mean, there's like, I'll say this, there's like pages that follow me, and I've been having to go and look because there's a lot of like spamming pages, and
Right.
there's some that as soon as I start seeing all AI, I block them. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. It's just robots or it's whoever's running it, but when it comes to it doing all your work, it's like, okay, you know what, like I just don't get that. I mean, if that's what they do, then good for them. But I tell people I'm a fan of, like, of the people inside a costume. I'm the fan of the
Mhm.
I mean, giving, like you said, giving somebody a job, because yeah, I know everything costs money, and people are talking about budgets and they don't have money for this and that. But I mean, when it comes to like the indie world, that's kind of where creativity comes into play, because you have to sell it. You have to say, okay, you know what, this is the monster. It's my hand, but here we go. Like, let's just make it happen, and it
Right.
does. I mean, I've seen a lot of very, very no budget films that are insanely funny. They're like kooky, goofy, to where you're like, man, what the heck is this? But I love it. I love the fact that people had to use their imagination to make things happen, because it gets my mind going. I'm start thinking, and I'm like, man, like I wish. it's something so simple, but I would have never thought of that. It's just, I mean, but it's good that people are doing that, and I mean, I appreciate that, and I'm glad that they're out there. A lot of people, everybody has their preference when it comes to it's indie film. For crying out loud,
Mhm.
it is going to be no budget. There's some great ones out there. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of money that goes into a lot of them, but I mean, for me, it's like if there's a story and needs to be told, like let's put it on video or let's put it on paper. Let's make it
No,
happen.
let's get it down. Let's get it down. I mean, look at Leatherface behind you.
Oh
You know,
yeah, he
guy
ain't
in a
moving.
chainsaw.
It's actually on my closet door, right? Because I
Oh,
do have a room here at home. My youngest moved out, and I was like, okay, well, I'm turning this into my studio, right? Because it was at
okay.
it was at another location, and but the other day it was on there, and I was on the video chat, and it opened up a little bit, and I was like, oh crap, like I didn't close it all the way, so I kind of caught it, and afterwards I was like, man, I had to make sure it was closed after that, but kind of made
Or
me
you could
think.
just have it do that randomly, and then everybody will think it's a haunted podcast.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
find that footage, throw it out there. But
It'll
let me
be
ask you,
fun.
when it comes to writing, what else? What were you reading growing up? I mean, I know you say you were watching movies, and but I mean, was there anything that you were reading in particular that kind of influenced you doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I read a lot of Ramsey Campbell, again, short stories. I
Yes.
always gravitated towards it. Ramsey is my favorite, always, like forever. He will be my love. Like when it comes to writing, he's the guy. And then I read a lot of Brian Lumley. He had out a series called Necroscope, which I thought was really, really, really interesting. It was about, vampires and remote viewing, and there was war involved. It was really interesting. So I did a lot of reading as growing up, but I did a lot of nights were lost in Blockbuster, just looking at every like cheesy horror movie thing, and same thing whenever I went to a bookstore, I would look for a collection. I would look for a collection of stories. I never picked up the novels. I never really read the novels. Although I have since, but when I was a kid, it was always the short stories.
Oh, nice. Now, yeah. You see, I was more of a comic book kid. Like I used to read a lot of comics. It was one of those where I went to middle school, and the teacher was like, hey, stand in front of the class and start reading, and I was reading it. I was like, boom, like no problem. After class, she's like, wow, your reading's like above everybody else's. Like for some reason, she decided to put me like on a 2 grades higher reading class.
Good.
And I tell people this. I said, because I was a 6-year-old, and I was a small 6-year-old, and now they put me with like kids that are in the 8th grade, and these guys had like mustaches, right? They're like, I mean, here I am, like with these grown men, right? And it kind of just made me even more shy. Like I was a shy kid, and it just kind of, so I kind of regret doing that, because I was like, man, like I wish I could have enjoyed being around other, being the smart kid in the
Yeah.
class, or something. But yeah, but it was because she had asked me. She was like, "Oh, you read?" And I said, "Yeah, I read comic books. I don't read like books or anything, but my reading was well. I used to read well, and I used to be able to pronunciate and enunciate a lot of words. So, I mean, that was a good thing. I mean, I still read comic books. I mean, when it comes to novels and books, I mean, I do have to start doing that because of this. I want to be able to start reading out loud. That's one of the things I started doing a while back, and it's like, yeah, I need to get back on that. So,
Well, it's funny you brought up comic books because you said, I know they're not real books, but it's literally called a comic book.
yeah.
It's still a book. There's still reading involved. Yes, there's photos and pictures, but you're still reading. It doesn't matter what you're reading. When I was a kid, I'd read the back of a shampoo bottle.
Oh yeah, I did that the other day. I was actually somewhere, and I didn't have my phone, and I was like, man, what I'm trying to find stuff to read. It happens.
Like, what is this shit? Sodium lauryl sulfate? What does that do?
Yeah. It's the other day I was like, because somebody was like, oh man, what's in that drink? I was drinking something, and I said no, and he's like, well, you should start reading it sometime. And I was like, I turned it around, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't. It's been a while since I actually looked to see what's behind, what the ingredients are in anything, but.
Yeah, you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I made the mistake of downloading an app called Yuka, and you
Oh,
just point it at whatever you're eating, and it'll grade it and tell you all the things that'll kill you in it. I actually deleted the app.
oh, damn!
I'll never be
Seriously,
able to eat anything again.
it tells you that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah,
it'll tell you what it does, like slows down, human DNA receptors and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I got to get rid of this app.
yeah. I was gonna
Can't even
say I
drink
wouldn't be able to live after that because I'd be like, wait a minute, this shampoo, man, come on, I'm not trying to eat it, you know. But I've done that though, where I've actually gone down the rabbit hole when it comes to like deodorant, you know, how they used to
Oh,
use aluminum and shampoos.
mhm.
Um, they deter like the male hormone and just I mean crazy stuff. And I'm just like, man, you got to be kidding me, man. Like I've been using this stuff for years, you know, and it's just wild. But you know, I think the
Elio's
other
Pizza. Don't go near Elio's Pizza.
man, I was gonna say the other day, there was an article where I was reading something and they were talking about underwear. So they were like, oh, it's like a polyester, you know, plastic and how it's and I'm like, man, what the heck? I mean, now I'm gonna be walking around with like a pillowcase, you know, or something. I don't even know. It's just crazy, but it's like,
Everything,
yeah,
everything is plastic.
yeah.
Everything. Toilet paper. How's that process?
I know, yeah, you know, I mean, it makes you
Don't
wonder, you know,
look.
but it's just like now it's like, okay, we can't, you know, I told my youngest one time because she was making breakfast and she's like, "Oh, Dad, we don't use that. We use the spray." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "When I was little, I said we used to have like a big old 5 gallon bucket of lard,
That's
and
it.
that's what we cooked. We used to have to get a scoop, throw it on the pan, and that's what we ate with, you know." And I said, "You know, I don't know because I was a kid, I wasn't paying attention, but I was like, I don't think there was a lot of like the way it is now when it comes to illnesses and all that stuff, you know, like it's
Right.
like everything now is man made and." You know, I mean, man-made for me. I tell people that you know we make as men as people as you know we make mistakes. So who's to say you know with us making it is going to be a good thing or what?
Yeah, that's the price of progress, isn't it?
Yeah. No, 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 for sure.
The
But
the
yeah, you know
price.
that's another one. You know, I mean, when it comes to having land, I mean, I think that's one of my things would be like getting chickens and eating natural. You know, eating you
Yeah.
know from the earth and just living off the earth, right?
Well, you're halfway there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll be there soon enough. You know, I'm hoping. You know, as soon as I hit the lottery, I'll
Oh,
do
is
that.
that it?
I'm
Okay.
gonna hit the
Let me
give me
know.
some. Oh yeah, yeah. Give me some acreage. You know, just height somewhere, and you know, get one. The only reason I want property is to get an ATV and just be able to go get my mail, come back, and you know, just run around the
You gotta be
property.
that guy.
Yeah, living the
There's
life.
a there's a place in Texas that I wanted to go to, but I doubt highly unless I hit the lottery that I'd be able to afford. It's a place that allows you to drive tanks called Tank Town.
I've
And you could drive tanks over cars and
yeah.
then shoot the giant shells out of the tanks.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
I read up on
ten
that a
thousand
while back.
dollars a day.
You see, but I mean, is this like, do you have to buy your own tank or is this something you rent?
No, you rent it for
Okay.
1 hour. It's $10,000.
Ooh, damn.
No.
Yeah, you see that I know I gotta look into that because I know one of my buddies he actually lives in New Braunfels and they do like we have like a wild pig infestation like during the summer, right? So they go out there and they have to control the population because they
Right.
do eat everything and eat everything and anything, right? But they do that helicopter ride where they go out there and
Oh,
snipe them, man. They kill them, you know, and it's just one of those things that yeah, I mean, because they are evasive, you know, so they do. If you have plantations or if you have anything, like they'll go through that in a day, and it's just not a good thing. But that's a
well,
helicopter. I can imagine a tractor though. That's crazy.
I wonder if that's where that pig came from on your neighbor's porch.
Oh, I know. They probably rescue.
He's probably
Yeah,
like, I'm just gonna hide out at this guy's house. He feeds me.
yeah. Poor guy probably doesn't even know it's a pig, right? Probably thinks it's a
Probably
dog or
not.
something. Who knows? But you know what though? But there's two other dogs in there with it, so it's around dogs.
Yeah. Well, it's a wild pig that got friendly with some dogs.
Yeah, I mean, heck, you know, maybe it identifies as a dog. That's the thing now, right?
It might. Yes, it may identify as a dog.
Oh yeah,
That is a thing.
there you go. Now, let me ask you: when it comes to the publication, of course, this is available through Amazon.com.
Yeah, you can go to Amazon. It was on Amazon's bestseller list. It stayed at number 46 for a few weeks, beating
Nice,
out amazing authors where I was like, oh, well, I guess this is really something.
nice, nice. Well, congratulations. I mean,
Thank
and of
you.
course, this is in both digital and paperback, correct?
It is. You can get the Kindle version or the paperback. The paperback's $11.99. The Kindle version is, I think, $2.99.
No,
So
I
it's
see.
affordable for anyone.
No, no, of course. And I was going to say this too because I know I've done the mistake of getting the digital format, and
Mhm.
I mean, just like everybody, I live off my phone, and I don't like it because I get notifications or I get a call, I get a text, I'm trying to read, and so I definitely need to stick with paperback. You know.
Yeah, paperback is I mean, you can't see it like all around me. There are books, and the digital version, I don't really read them. I don't really listen to them. I I have them, but then like you said, like I just get distracted because
Yeah.
it is on a device where I am always distracted. So not a
No,
good.
I need to start because I get the privilege of getting a lot of these movie screens like early, right? And I do my reviews and I get to watch them and enjoy them. And I keep saying I'm gonna watch it on my laptop because I'm like, man, if I'm on my phone, like it's like text after call after, and so I do get a lot of distractions. But I need to start doing that off my laptop, and maybe that's what I need to start doing, like putting time away to, because even at my work we have like this relaxation room that we can go out there and chill out. And I'm like, dude, I would love to be able to just sit down and read something.
Read. Yeah. Well, you could start with Stitches.
There you go. There you go. And what's the how many stories are in the book?
I think there are 12. You
Okay.
think I would know, but there
Well, I
are
mean,
12 stories.
I was gonna say I would think so, but then with you leaving so many out, I'm pretty sure you were like could have been like 50.
Yeah. Well, no, it would have been way too thick for 50. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of things in this book that would absolutely translate to the screen.
Nice.
These stories would be, because they are kind of written also in the vein of the Tales from the Crypt
Oh,
and the Dark
sweet.
Side and things like that. I I will eventually get there. Like I said, I know people who could do it. I know indie filmmakers that would do it. I would just have to have the time to put it together.
Right.
Unfortunately, I have a full-time job, which cannibalizes most of my life, if not all. But I'll get there. And then maybe you could watch them here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the things even now. Like I'm a, I support a lot of indie filmmakers. I jump on a lot of them here locally. Here in Texas. I've been
Okay.
fortunate to jump on a lot of projects and still jumping on projects. So, if you make that film, give me a role. I'll do a quick cameo. I'll be the guy walking by or something.
Oh, yeah, I will. Yeah, for sure. I will do that.
No, but I appreciate that. And let me ask you because I looked it up, and it is tonight's Super Bowl Sunday, like I mentioned, and it is going to be the Seahawks playing the Patriots. Now,
Okay.
you don't know either or, but if you had to pick one, who would you pick?
Mm. I'm gonna just first thing that comes to mind is the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's the
No.
first thing that comes to mind. I would go by the helmets, so then I would say the Seahawks. That's the only way I would pick it. Just like, I would pick a racehorse by the name. I wouldn't even look at the stats.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'd be that guy too. I mean, with football, like I know my brother is actually a big Patriots fan, so I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well, just because
Okay.
I grew up watching the Cowboys back when they were winning, right, in the
Okay.
'80s. They were a great team, but yeah, ever since then, like I've never really kept up with it, and I always tell people I was the kid they always pick last because I didn't know how to play anything. I used to skateboard. That's all I used to want to do, just get on my skateboard and take off. And I didn't really get into any sports or anything like that. Mixed martial arts out of high school. Around when I was like 22, I think I started venturing into that. But other than that, I was more of a one-on-one type person.
Well, at least you mastered the skateboard. I went down a skateboard down my driveway. The skateboard stopped. I kept going. Knees, hands. I was picking gravel out of my face. It didn't work out well. I still remember what that skateboard looked like, too.
Oh man, I was gonna say, and it's always those little like pebbles, little minute little
Oh,
rock, and
mhm.
because
Yep.
that used to get me. And I'm fortunate I never had any accidents. I was actually I was good for what I was doing. I mean, I used to be able to like ollie over like picnic trash cans on picnic tables. I used to be able to land a couple of cool tricks, but I still got it, and I still, I told people if I skateboard, it's like 30 minutes tops because after that, my knees won't forgive me.
So you can still do it.
Yeah, yeah. I actually still do a
That's
lot of
awesome.
street tricks, so I can still land like my kick flips. I've done my what they call 360 shovelets, no complies. I mean, a couple of street tricks is what they are, but it's they're basic, but as long as I can land them, I'll keep doing them.
As long as you don't land on your face, you're good.
I know, yeah, yeah. God forbid, because I think the day that happens, or I come close to it, is probably the day I'll retire. I'll be like, okay, that's it.
Yeah. Be like,
No more for
kids,
me.
I'm done.
Yeah.
No more.
Man, but of course, when it comes to the book, I mean, like we mentioned, it is available. I mean, for those that are watching this now or will be watching this later, they can definitely get on Amazon.com. Stitches is out now. When it comes to past projects, I mean, is other projects available as well?
Right now, Stitches, but if you go to my website, which is jmheluk.com, it'll show all the other books and anthologies that I was included in. And there are some other interviews up there and some other content that people might find interesting.
No, no, for sure. And that's one of the things too, because when it comes to Nightmare Press, I mean, they have like a list of podcasters that are bringing you guys on, and I support all of them. I'm like, you know what, this isn't just me, this is a team effort, and the fact that you guys are growing, we're growing, and it's works both ways. We got to help support each other and keep growing with
That's
us.
it. Yeah, we have to support the creative people because the machines are taking over.
Oh yeah, we got to stop AI.
Stop AI.
But hopefully we'll see, as long as I don't take over. I'm good with using it here and there, but nah, come on.
Yeah.
When it comes to doing your everyday work, and that's kind of one of the things. Like, and I don't know if you do this, but when I go to the grocery store or anywhere, like I don't do self checkout lanes. I go to where the person's at.
Where the person's at.
Yeah, and I always tell people, I said, man, I don't work here. Like I'm not using this damn, and I still want that interaction. I still want the whole, hey, how you doing today? Need anything? You find
Right.
out, I'm that guy. I need that interaction on the daily. Otherwise it's like, people lose jobs, and it's like after that, then you got like one person running like 10 registers, and the heck with that.
Yeah, that's never good. And you know how bad that always goes. You always see one person run around like a lunatic and five people with the red lights on, like standing getting aggravated.
I know.
Like,
And that happened to me. I think it was Lowe's, and they have that where you have to use the register, like the self checkout. And the lady, like, I didn't realize there was like lights on, but I'm like, ma'am, she's like, I'll be right with you. And I was like, holy crap. And I look up and I'm like, oh, okay, that's I'm not the only one, but it's like, yeah, man, like, I mean, poor lady, probably having a freaking migraine, and get her some help, will you? Lowe's,
Yeah.
but yeah, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for jumping on here, and of course, on this Super Bowl Sunday, I gotta keep throwing that out there because I got a little function I got to go to later this evening.
That's right.
But with yourself, I mean, would you want to wrap this up? Is there anything you want to tell us before we end this?
No, I just want to tell everybody, if you're interested in horror and you like horror that lingers, and you want to kind of figure out a little bit of a puzzle or be part of a book, Stitches and Other Stories, available from Amazon. Just check it out. Let me know what you think.
No, for sure. And of course, I thank you for jumping on here, giving me this opportunity. I'll definitely bring you back, once, not even before this film comes out, right? You'll be working on this film soon enough, but I'll definitely bring you back before then. But
Awesome.
Don't hang up yet. Everybody out there, of course, once again, Spider here, Coming Soon Podcast. As always, till next time.